My name's Sven Lindblad, the CEO of Lindblad Expeditions, and together with our partners at National Geographic, what we want to do is inspire people to understand the world better via expedition travel. But what is that exactly? What is expedition travel? What makes it different from a cruise? A cruise is really focused inwardly. It's more about the ship and less about the place. On an expedition, it's just the reverse. The ship is a tool to get you into a place, to allow you an immersion in extraordinary experiences, to emotionally connect you with remarkable places and feel your understanding of the world grow because of them. 50 years ago, my father, Lars-Erik Lindblad, brought the first layman travelers to the Antarctic Peninsula. The following year to the Galapagos Islands, and in subsequent years we've brought people to many, many more places: the Arctic, the Amazon, Patagonia, Central America, Baja California. Intelligent travelers going to places that before that had really only been explored by explorers and scientists. You might think it's a challenge to find new territory in an already well-mapped world, but if you look through the lens of expedition travel, there's lots and lots of virgin territory out there to still discover. This is why we've committed the National Geographic Orion to Polynesia in 2018. This is a new frontier where Polynesian navigators centuries ago accomplished the equivalent of the moon landing, where some of the last intact coral reefs can show snorkelers and divers what a thriving ocean looks like, and where ancient mysteries still live on. So stay tuned for our next episodes. We'll introduce you to our friends and colleagues, the people who really know this region, and learn why we're on a quest for the pure and wild Pacific this year. And you should join us. See you soon. Polynesia is one of the world's most romantic destinations, to be sure. We in the Western world became familiar with Polynesia as a consequence of great journeys of Captain James Cook. And of course the paintings of Paul Gauguin, which were so evocative, showing the beauty of the Polynesian people. And so it seems fitting that we wanted to develop our ideas together with one of our own expedition developers who has her own romantic story of these islands. Michelle Graves is one of our directors of expedition development. Her husband, Mark, our director of marine operations. In 2012, Mark and Michelle spent 3 months exploring French Polynesia, discovering places where most just fantasize about going. So, Michelle, was it romantic?
Yes, it was romantic in the sense of being able to explore and have this free time, really kind of go where our imaginations took us. The opportunity to be anchored by ourselves inside these atolls, in the lagoons, really no other boats, just us, and the opportunity to explore the outer edges of the reefs, go ashore by dinghy, walk those beaches, no other people, looking out over the Pacific, and then some really incredible snorkeling and diving.
So are you and our team developing these itineraries along those lines?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd love to be able to give our guests that experience of being in these remote islands, remote atolls, going ashore by Zodiac, sort of feeling the place in that really visceral way, definitely off the beaten path. And I'm really hoping that on the few sea days we have on these voyages, because we are going to pack these trips with lots of activities, that our guests will be able to feel just a little bit of that, to be able to wander out on deck, see the ocean horizon, to see a sky full of stars at night.
So, Michelle, you've talked a fair amount about the sea, but what about ashore? What about the people and the culture and the history in a place like the Marquesas?
It's incredible there. We spent about 2 weeks in the Marquesas exploring almost exclusively on land, and the people of the Marquesas are very interesting, very independent, and we were able to go see one of the most beautiful archaeological sites in all of Polynesia, taking an 8-hour bouncy Jeep ride to get there. And I'm excited to say that when we make a visit to this exact same site aboard National Geographic Orion, we're going to be able to approach it from the sea. So it'll be a Zodiac landing and then a very short trip over to this site.
What do you think will be the most surprising things for our guests on these expeditions?
I mean, we're in this region. These are ocean nations, and the size of Orion allows us to explore a lot of these atolls and the Marquesas very comfortably, but also getting away from tourist infrastructure.
So thanks, Michelle, for giving us your insights and giving people a preview about our plans for 2018. Stay tuned for our next episodes to meet Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson, Conservationist Taholo Kami, and Oceanographer Enrique Sala to learn more about why Polynesia ought to be in your future. See you soon. It was freaking believable. This is the best time of the whole. Even without the Matarelli, it was a beautiful dive. Yeah, sure. My name's Sven Lindblad, the CEO of Lindblad Expeditions. In April of 2017, I led a reconnaissance mission to Polynesia to discover extraordinary snorkeling and diving opportunities for our expeditions there. We found them. But first, let me show you who and what inspired us.
There are still a few places that are untouched. Places that look like the ocean of 1,000 years ago. These places are the only baselines we have to understand what we have lost. But most important, they are a blueprint to help us determine what type of future we want. Over the last 8 years, we have visited 19 of the most remote places in the ocean. Our goal is to see the 20 most pristine places in the ocean protected by 2020.
Guided by Enrique Sala's expeditions, our team confirmed locations for our guests to have absolutely incredible opportunities. And many of the South Pacific spots identified by Enrique and his team can only be reached aboard the National Geographic Orion. So if you love the ocean and want to see what a truly thriving undersea looks like, please join us as we explore the pure and wild Polynesia.
We're about 10 million people in a space bigger than the continent of Africa. And we see ourselves as ocean people. We see ourselves as the original explorers. We had to find our way through these spaces before all the technology. And we see ourselves, in some cases, the last of the indigenous island people on the planet. The acknowledgement and the embracing of the ocean is very much a part of everything we do.
So tell me about your recent expedition to the Marquesas Islands. What was so special about the Marquesas?
The Marquesas is stunning in terms of young islands. They have a very proud history. This is a people very isolated, but once upon a time could have been over 100,000 people. They've got a canoe culture, and they've proudly sustained their cultures over the years.
I was invited to join the Hukalea on a Tahiti leg of the voyage during my recent Polynesian reconnaissance, and I got to spend some time with the president of the Polynesian Voyaging Society, Nainoa Thompson. Well, I know the mission of the Hukalea is multifaceted, but if you could describe the essence, what would that be?
It's a voyaging canoe for our children. It's a source of pride and dignity for children that need to have the strength of our culture to build their self-worth and self-esteem, to help them be able to navigate their lives in the world. We go to explore this blue island called Earth. You can't protect what you don't understand, and you won't if you don't care. So we explore, We find new places, we go and learn, we engage community, we build friendships from strangers, and we unite. The big question of the voyage was, does the rest of the planet care? Does it care about the oceans? Does it care about caring for the planet?
Talking to our Polynesian friends further inspired our desire to explore Polynesia, to take a community of strangers and unite around a mission, to build friendships, experience the vast richness of Polynesia, to explore, see, feel, and learn. It will be an incredible adventure. I hope you'll join us.